It may seem hard to believe today, but for decades, Israel and Iran were quiet partners. Before 1979, their relationship was built on a simple idea: the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Both nations were non-Arab powers in a region dominated by Arab states. They shared concerns about the influence of the Soviet Union and the aggressive pan-Arab nationalism led by leaders like Egypt's Gamal Abdel Nasser. This shared strategic outlook created a foundation for a surprisingly deep, if discreet, partnership. It was a pragmatic alliance, driven by mutual interests rather than any deep cultural connection. Both countries saw each other as a necessary balance against the surrounding Arab world. This cooperation was most visible in the energy sector. Israel, facing boycotts from its Arab neighbors, needed a reliable source of oil. Iran, under the rule of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was happy to provide it. This relationship became so important that they jointly built the Eilat-Ashkelon pipeline. This pipeline allowed Iranian oil to be shipped to the Israeli port of Eilat and then transported overland to the Mediterranean coast. From there, it could be sold to European markets, bypassing the Suez Canal. It was a major economic victory for both nations, showcasing how their practical needs could overcome regional politics. Beyond oil, their partnership extended into military and intelligence matters. Israel provided Iran with military training and advanced weaponry. Israeli advisors helped develop Iran's agriculture and infrastructure, sharing expertise that was crucial for the Shah's modernization plans. In return, Iran provided a vital strategic depth for Israel. For instance, Iran helped facilitate the exodus of Iraqi Jews to Israel in the early 1950s. It also allowed Israel to support Kurdish rebels in northern Iraq, a move designed to keep the Iraqi government preoccupied and distracted from confronting Israel directly. This era was defined by David Ben-Gurion's periphery doctrine. The idea was for Israel to build strong alliances with the non-Arab countries on the periphery of the Middle East, like Iran, Turkey, and Ethiopia. This strategy was designed to break the diplomatic and geographic isolation imposed on Israel by its hostile Arab neighbors. The relationship with Iran was the most critical part of this doctrine. For over 30 years, this secret friendship helped shape the balance of power in the region. It was a period of quiet collaboration that stands in stark contrast to the open hostility that defines their relationship today. Everything changed in 1979. The Iranian Revolution toppled the Shah and brought a radical new government to power, led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. This was not just a change in leadership. It was a complete transformation of Iran's identity and its place in the world. The new Islamic Republic of Iran rejected the Shah's pro-Western foreign policy entirely. It adopted a new ideology based on revolutionary Shiite Islam and a fierce opposition to foreign influence. The United States was branded the Great Satan, and Israel, its closest regional partner, was labeled the Little Satan. Suddenly, Israel was no longer a partner. It was an enemy. The new regime in Tehran immediately severed all official ties with Israel. The Israeli embassy in Tehran was shut down and handed over to the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO. This was a powerful symbolic gesture. Anti-Zionism became a central pillar of the new government's ideology, woven into its very reason for being. The new leaders saw Israel not as a legitimate state, but as an illegitimate Zionist entity and an imperialist outpost in the heart of the Muslim world. This ideological shift was absolute and non-negotiable. The friendship that had been carefully built over decades was dismantled almost overnight. This new hostility was not just rhetoric. It became a core part of Iran's foreign policy. The new leaders in Iran saw themselves as the champions of the Palestinian cause and the leaders of a global Islamic awakening. Opposing Israel was a way to prove their revolutionary credentials to the wider Muslim world. The pre-1979 alliance was now viewed as a source of national shame, a betrayal of Islamic principles. Any remnants of the old relationship were erased. The once busy oil pipeline fell silent, and the military advisors who had once been welcomed were now seen as spies. A brief, strange episode occurred during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. In a secret deal known as the Iran-Contra affair, Israel helped facilitate the sale of American weapons to Iran. The logic was that Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, was a more immediate threat to Israel. However, This was purely a moment of pragmatism. It did nothing to change Iran's fundamental view of Israel. Once the war was over, the deep-seated ideological hatred returned to the forefront. The revolution had drawn a permanent line in the sand, turning a former ally into an implacable foe. After the revolution, Iran knew it could not fight Israel directly. The two countries do not share a border, and Iran's conventional military was busy with its long war against Iraq. So, Iran adopted a different strategy: proxy warfare. It began to fund, train, and arm militant groups across the Middle East that shared its goal of destroying Israel. This allows Iran to fight a war from a distance, using other groups to do the fighting. It is a long-term strategy designed to bleed Israel through a constant, low-level conflict, avoiding a direct, full-scale war that Iran might lose. This approach keeps the pressure on Israel without putting Iran's own territory at risk. The most successful of these proxies is Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran helped create Hezbollah in the early 1980s, following Israel's invasion of Lebanon. Over the years, Iran has transformed Hezbollah into a powerful military and political force. It is armed with an estimated 150,000 rockets and missiles, many of which are sophisticated and can strike anywhere in Israel. Hezbollah now effectively controls large parts of Lebanon, giving Iran a direct foothold on Israel's northern border. This proxy army is the cornerstone of Iran's strategy, a constant and credible threat that shapes all of Israel's military planning. Iran's network of proxies has expanded significantly, creating what some military analysts call a ring of fire around Israel. In Gaza, Iran provides funding and weapons to groups like Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, fueling conflict on Israel's southern flank. After the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003, Iran's influence grew in Iraq, where it supports powerful Shiite militias. More recently, the civil war in Syria allowed Iran to establish a military presence there, creating a land bridge that connects Tehran all the way to Lebanon and the Mediterranean Sea. This allows Iran to move advanced weapons and fighters closer to Israel's borders. This shadow war is fought on many fronts. Israel, in turn, has responded with its own campaign. It conducts frequent and often unacknowledged airstrikes in Syria to destroy Iranian weapons shipments and military bases. This campaign between the wars is designed to disrupt Iran's plans and prevent its proxies from becoming too powerful. It is a constant game of cat and mouse, with both sides trying to gain an advantage without triggering a major escalation. This indirect conflict defines the modern relationship between the two nations, a dangerous and unstable rivalry fought through others. The most dangerous element of the Iran-Israel conflict is Iran's nuclear program. Israel believes that Iran is secretly trying to build a nuclear bomb. For Israeli leaders, an Iran armed with nuclear weapons is an existential threat. They point to the repeated calls from Iranian leaders for Israel's destruction and argue that a nuclear Iran would be undeterrable. The fear is that Iran would either use the bomb itself or use the threat of it to act more aggressively through its proxies, knowing that Israel would be afraid to retaliate forcefully. This concern has been the single biggest driver of Israeli foreign and defense policy for more than 2 decades. Israel has worked tirelessly to stop Iran's nuclear ambitions. It has used a combination of diplomacy, sabotage, and covert operations. Israeli intelligence has been credited with cyber attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities, like the Stuxnet virus that damaged centrifuges at Natanz. It is also widely believed to be behind the assassinations of several key Iranian nuclear scientists. In 2018, Israel's Mossad spy agency conducted a daring raid in Tehran, smuggling out a vast archive of documents that, according to Israel, proved Iran had a secret military nuclear program in the past. These actions are meant to slow down the program and buy more time. This shared fear of Iran has dramatically redrawn the map of Middle East alliances. In a historic shift, several Arab countries have found common cause with Israel. Nations like the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, which also see Iran as a major threat to their security, have normalized relations with Israel through the Abraham Accords. This is a stunning reversal of decades of policy. These new partnerships are built on a shared understanding that a powerful and aggressive Iran is a danger to them all. This has created a new anti-Iran bloc in the region, with Israel and its new Arab partners cooperating on intelligence and security. Today, the situation remains a tense standoff. Iran continues to enrich uranium to levels closer to what is needed for a weapon, while Israel vows it will never allow Tehran to get the bomb. The old friendship of the Shah's era is a distant memory, replaced by a bitter and dangerous rivalry. This conflict, which started with a revolution in 1979, has evolved into a complex shadow war and a high-stakes nuclear race. It has not only defined the relationship between Israel and Iran, but has also reshaped the entire political landscape of the Middle East, creating new alliances